Hello, my name is Monty Kaz. I am the founder of Revolutionary Motherhood and also the Balance Me IFA study group. And we do virtual meetups every first Sunday of the month at 4 p.m. I changed the time. I apologize. Last month I wasn't able to uh, do the actual study group because I have something called Odoni Fa. Oduni Fa is it's your 1 year anniversary after initiation. So you celebrate it like your birthday every year, and that's really, really important. So you basically do a ritual, you have to get a consultation done and some other things, and you invite people over and you celebrate that first year. So that's what happened. So I do apologize to those of you who are kind of waiting for the next recording, and I had to focus on that. So let me go ahead and share my screen now, so we can talk about this next class. Give me 1 second. Okay, so let me go back um, and share screen real quick, and then I can maximize what I'm doing here. Okay, so as you know, we're going to be going over the principles of African spirituality. These principles are rather common to every African based spiritual system. And so we're going to go over those principles and I'll get into those again. But I want to back up a little bit and I want to talk a little bit about Balance Me for our study group virtual meetup. Basically, it's the understanding that we are spiritual beings having human experiences. So don't be too hard on yourself. You're on a journey and you made agreements prior to coming into this realm, okay? From the realm of the ancestors, there were some things that you promised to do, and that's where taboos come into play. There's some things that you may have a debt for. So everyone's life path is different. And the way you find out what your life path is to get a consultation or reading, as they call it, with any uh, authorized priest, fully trained priest. And there are different lineages that are African based that you can go. You can go the Voodoo way. You can go the Ifa, Candomblé, Lukumi, Palo. You have people that are in Conjure and Hoodoo traditions that are in Americans. So it's different traditional systems, but they all derive the derivatives from the African spiritual systems, which have fundamental principles that govern those systems. And the objective is the same: it's to help you fulfill your destiny. First of all, it's to help you find, follow, and fulfill your destiny. That's the goal of consultation and divination, that you have a destiny, that you have a calling, as people would say, right, on your life. And the whole basis of divination is to support you in that. So I don't want to get too much into that right now, um, but I just want to give you a little bit overview, and I just want you to keep in mind the question of, are you here because you're seeking an identity in terms of your personal identity, or you're just a person that's seeking to reconnect with spirit, and others are, you know, they're looking for opportunity to grow and learn. So everyone's motives for why you come into African spirituality may be different. Okay, so it's very important for me as someone that's a Omowo, or someone that's going to be training to be a priest, to start everything off with prayer. In fact, we are spiritual beings having human experiences. So the way it works is from the space of the divinity to a space where we can see in a physical. So a spirit in a physical realm are always interchanging. So prayer is very, very important. Prayer is a request. Now I said prayer to Ori. Ori in Ifa is your higher self. It means your head, right? So you hold on to your head and you call your Ori 3 times in the morning and you say a prayer. So we say, Ori, 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 thank you for waking me up this morning. Thank you for guiding and protecting me. And then you can keep holding on to your hair and you can say this prayer. You say, Ori and me, la, worry in me, oh. Ori and me, la, worry in me. Mojo baloru mufi omori. Ori and me, la, worry in me. Now, the translation is one Zori is one charm to all successes. One Zori is one charm to all successes. When I wake up in the morning, I hold on to my head. One Zori is one charm to all successes. Also, what's really good to do is a prayer protection. So, this is a prayer protection to Arumala, who is a prophet of Ifa, and the tool and the system that Arumala, uses for divination. He was the first Babalawo or first a priest is called Ifa. It's the Ifa system, but Ifa is also a divinity. Okay, it's a mouthpiece of the Creator God. So Ifa is an oracle. It gets its messages directly from the Creator God. All right, so you have different energies and they have different purpose. So Ifa is an oracle. Orunmila was a human being who lived, and he is the prophet of Ifa, this faith. Just as Jesus is important to Christianity, and Muhammad is important to Islam. Okay, so this is a prayer protection where petitioning Ifa. Rumla goes to Ifa and petitions him. So it says, a farmer wakes up early in the morning and lights a fire. He does not use the fire to consume a chameleon. This is Ifa's message for Arumala when he would act as a sanctuary for his children against untimely death. He was advised to offer Ebo. He complied. And he would say, Arumala, please be my sanctuary. You can say, when you pray, you can say my sanctuary. You can say the names of the people that you're petitioning for. Death abounds out there. Oju Oro is the protective umbrella of the stream. Arumala, please be my sanctuary. Death abounds out there. Osi Bada is the protective umbrella of the river. Arumala, please be my sanctuary. Death abounds out there. The roof is the protective umbrella of the house. Arumala, please be my sanctuary. Death abounds out there. The hat is the protective umbrella of the head. Arumala, please be my sanctuary. Death abounds out there. The D water is the protective umbrella of the sand underneath. Arumala, please be my sanctuary. Death abounds out there. Ashero, so may it be so. Okay, there's no judgment with prayer. If you're going to pray for someone, pray for them. If you know they're doing things that they perhaps shouldn't do, you still can do this prayer. You never know. It may be this. It may very well be this prayer and your intentions. That's very important. Intentions, having right intent, that will change or have an effect or influence on this person's life. So as long as they're alive, always pray for them. Prayer is always good. And prayer is a petition, so you say it out loud. You always say prayers out loud because it's a petition. You're petitioning a particular energy or a particular entity. That's what prayer is. Okay, so these are basically the fundamental principles of African spirituality, African spiritual-based systems. I got it from a book called Spirit is Eternal. I'm just going to go over the introduction. If you want the rest of the book, you need to purchase it from Ancestral Voices. They're based in the UK. Their information will be at the end of this presentation. So we went over balance and order. That's the first presentation. The second one now is interconnectedness in hierarchy. And also, so you know that when I upload upload this video on my YouTube page, when you have the drop down, you'll see resources that can be resources about where you can train, resources about books, resources about a particular like spiritual shop or something where you can go buy items. So these are resources that will be available. Okay. So just to review those principles, we have balance, order, interconnectedness, hierarchy, cyclical existence, ancestors. We're going to get into that later. Nature, as God is nature, God is female, God is both male and female, divine consciousness that creates everything. And just keep in mind that we hold spirit. We are vessels that hold spirit. So just keep that in mind. To begin, on the principles of interconnectedness and hierarchy, we're going to go over this slide and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. It says the realms are connected and respond to each other. So there's always an interchange, up and down, spirit and physical realm. The spiritual and physical realm are constantly interacting all day, 24/7. So whatever you do in either realm affects the other realm. So whatever you do in this physical realm affects the spiritual realm. What you do in the spiritual realm affects this physical realm. Okay. Doing ritual aids in desired outcomes. So prayer is great. It's a petitioner's request. That's in spirit. You're sending something, you're petitioning energy. But then it needs a physical correlation, which is ritual, right? So the ritual is the physical correlation to the spiritual realm. So what a ritual is basically action steps done in this physical realm to gain desired outcomes from the unseen. All right. So when you want to petition a particular energy, you pray, you put in your request, you want that energy to respond a particular way. That's when you do ritual. But they also need your cooperation because part of that, the ritual, consultation, divination, whatever you want to call it, consulting, requires you to do something and you have to do it. You can't be one or these three saying it's prayer plus ritual plus human action. I put Ifa on here, but really it can be used for any spiritual system that's African based. There's even if you have a good reading done, there's still ritual that has to be done because that's just the way it works. That's the formula to getting blessed, to getting things done. So if you do prayer and you do Ebo, as we call it in Ifa, you do Ebo or ritual, and you don't do your part, don't look for the same results. If you pray and you put your effort and you don't do the ritual and you're in Ifa, you're using the Ifa system, you may get an outcome, but it may not be the one that you want because you didn't do all the steps. But definitely, if you do prayer and ritual and don't do your part, things don't move the way you would like for them to move. And sometimes we get stuck in there. We're like, why isn't things moving for us? Because you're not following the process. So ritual is consultation with a priest, community priest. Again, I'm emphasizing don't go to a priest or someone to get a reading of any form of any system and don't listen to them. If you don't trust their advice, don't go to them. Go to someone that you trust. And respect and don't argue with them on the mat. You don't do that when they're in the middle of doing their work. You respect the system. You respect the process. Okay, so this is something very important I have to remember as well is I am part of the creator God. We call him Oludumare and the Yoruba system. That creator God has many names in different traditions. And it said, I am part of the creator God, not separate from him, along with everything that exists. So whatever I do to others affects me. If I am in a community with people and I live in that community and I am doing certain criminal behavior and I live in that community, eventually the people in that community are going to find out that it's you and it's going to have an effect on you. Or if I I am in a family unit, right? And I'm in a home and I have chores to do, something simple, right? That were given to me by my parents. And I say, oh, I'm not going to do my chore. And my other siblings did their chore. And your mom says, oh, well, we can't go somewhere because you didn't do your part. So that's how it works. We all are part of this great checkerboard. Each of us have a position in that on that checkerboard. And if on a checkerboard you see that it's different colors, if I'm not present, the checkerboard isn't complete or someone else isn't present. So we're all interconnected. So that's why they kind of look at things like you're interconnected with the environment, you're interconnected with people around you, how you live, what you do adversely affects your immediate environment and the people in it. So you don't exist as a microcosm or as an individual. You are part of a greater whole. And you have to keep that in mind as an individual. And I have to keep that in mind as an individual with the choices and decisions we make, as even as parents, as mates. Whatever I do affects the people around me. It affects my family. The things I say affects them as well. And I have to consider them as well when I choose to make certain decisions, right? And family in African context is not just the husband, wife, and children. Family is the husband, wife, children, extended family, aunts, uncles, and so forth, because they believe in a village concept and a communal concept. So we work collectively to get things done. Okay, so it says thoughts plus words manifesting. So my thoughts, the way I think, my intentions, the things I say have an effect on me and my environment. Okay? Um, we are all interconnected through spirit, and what I do to one person has an effect on me as well, as I was just saying. So the things that we say affects other people, because we have something called Ashe, because we're spiritual beings having human experiences, right? And so what governs everything is our thought process. So we're going to get into that a little later, the thought process and how we can change that if we have negative thoughts. So the way it works with hierarchy, it says, so above in the realm of the ancestors, so as below. So in the realm of the ancestors, there's a hierarchy system, a system of authority. The creator God, which includes everything, the deities, the ancestors, other spirits, and even us in this realm. We're all part of that energy, and we have specific function. Now, all these onus of the creator God, deities, ancestors, other spiritual beings, in the realm of the spirit, right? They come together and form balance and order in the universe. And so in this realm, if you look at the cross, which is a symbol, because the upper part of the cross is the realm of the ancestors and the deities and other spirits, part of the great, and we're all part of the creator God. But that's that realm. We call that Ola Room. And then we have this realm, the marketplace. I forgot what it's called in Yoruba. And we mirror what's in the realm of the spirit. So, for example, human beings have different functions. If you have an Oba or king or king or queen, they're symbolic of the creator God. Members of the king and queen's court are symbolic of the deities, because the deities have specific functions. You go to them for specific things. You go to Oshun for when you're dealing with small children, to get pregnant, all of that. That's part of Mama Oshun. But then if you would go to another, maybe Batala, for something dealing with the mind. So they all have different functions. You're going for technology or engineering, surgery, you will go to Ogun, for example, Ogun's energy, right? So they have different functions. And then we are representative of our ancestors. That's why the way we behave and the things we do has a direct effect on your ancestors. And your ancestors are your best friends for life, because when you do well, they benefit. So they want you to do well. But sometimes what happens basically is that we come into this realm and we forget the agreements that we made. And so some of us get off course. And our task is to find, follow, and fulfill our destiny. Some people have been priests since their first incarnation. They've been priests. Some people have been called to the priesthood and they don't have a choice but to be a priest. Some people can choose between being a priest or being an engineer, for example. Some people are not called at all. In fact, that's most people to the priesthood. Most people are scientists, doctors, lawyers, other professions. That's not, and because you're not called to the priesthood to be a priest, does not mean you don't have purpose. No, just remember the checkerboard. Everything has a function and a place. And then even amongst the priests, there are ranks, right? There are different types of priests. So again, the spiritual realm and the physical realm mirrors the spiritual realm. All right. Okay. So now we're going to get into interconnectedness and hierarchy in terms of dealing with the mind. It's called the all is mind. The universe is mental. That's an actual law. The universe is mental. So you have the ability with your thoughts to influence your immediate environment and what's going on, because you have to teach the mind to think a certain way. And how do we do that, right? How do we change the way we think? So let's back up a little bit. Thinking optimistically, saying good words, affirmations, gratitude prayers of good outcomes. So by training your mind to say positive things, repetition. So you may say a 21-day affirmation. You might say a 30-day affirmation. You might say affirmation for gratitudes. I'm thankful for the day. I'm thankful for food, water, and shelter. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my car. I'm thankful even for the things that you are requesting. I'm thankful for my husband. I'm thankful for my business. All the things that you're requesting, you start thanking God for those things. And you also start decreeing and declaring these things into the universe, right? Because we're spiritual beings having human experience, and we have power in the tongue, we have ashe. So you start saying affirmations. I am blessed. I am healed. I forgive all those that have harmed me willfully. I forgive all those people that have wronged me willfully. I am in control of my happiness. I am surrounded by positive energy and positive people. My best days are ahead of me, right? I decree and declare that everything that I say with my mouth will manifest, and start saying those things. I will have a business. I will get married. I will have children. I will have good health. Start, and then in a human action, okay, you saying with your mouth, what are you doing? I want to lose weight. I am losing weight. So what do? You begin the steps. You say those affirmations. And then after a while, you keep saying it, you're going to feel differently, and you start moving in that direction. Let me join the gym. Let me change my diet and things of that sort. You start feeling different because your words are powerful. You are speaking things into existence. You are saying it with your mouth, the things that you want. You are requesting. So you have to say these things, and then you keep saying, even if you don't believe it, keep doing it, because it's going to be a shift, because your words are spirit. Sorry, your words are spirit. You have authority in your tongue. That's why what we say, we have to be careful. We have to stop saying negative things. I'm talking about myself. I personally am doing a 21-day anger manifestation uh affirmations, and it's for about 17 minutes, and I'm going to put that link with this video, so that if you're angry or resentful towards people that have wronged you, that have willfully done things to you, you have to let it go. That's part of healing. And so when you start saying more and more positive things, you're going to feel differently. You're going to attract different types of people. So that's how you begin to train the mind into saying things and doing things differently. Because I always hear this stuff. You got to have a positive. How do you do that? How do you change your thinking? How do you get your mind on the right track? Cleaning up your environment, the way you live, all of that has an influence on you mentally. Keep your house clean. Take care of your hygiene. I have a mentor that told me, just because you're going through it don't mean you got to look like it. Take care of yourself. Do your hair. Do your, do your wear your clothes well. Look good when you leave the house. Just don't leave the house looking any old way. Just because you're going through something doesn't mean everyone else has to know that, right? And you begin to decree and declare things into your life. Take walks. Self-care is extremely important. Checking in and finding out what you need for yourself on a daily basis. What do I need to take care of myself? Mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. What am I eating? Am I exercising? Am I reading things that are positive, uplifting? Am I in therapy if I need therapy? Do I do meditation? Meditation is for the emotional part, but also journaling is very important because you got to let those feelings go, right? And then you have the spiritual. What is your spiritual system? What do you do spiritually? You burn sage and all that's great, but it has to be a combination of all these things to be a balanced individual. What am I grateful for? My family, my friends, good health, being alive post COVID, for example, gratitude prayer. Um, what am I grateful for? What are things I need? Taking some time out of your day, uh, 2, 3 minutes, and just sitting in silence and just letting your thoughts flow. Even though some of the stuff, let's let it pass, they'll pass. Just reflecting on your day. Maybe you do yours at the end of the day, at night before you go to bed, and just reflect and thank God and journal for your day. I don't journal every day, but I do journal. Um, just really, really doing those self-care check-ins. It's extremely important. Um, Also, what do you need to do to prepare for your day the next day? All of this is very important to be a balanced individual, to be a healthy person. You have to have I call it spiritual hygiene. You got to have a spiritual hygiene where you take care of yourself, you check in with yourself before anyone else. Starting as best as I always knowing your schedule. I always start at the beginning of the day, but some people's schedules are different than mine. So you may not have the time to do all this in the morning. You might have to do your prayer in the morning and do your check-ins when you come back at night after taking a shower and eating your dinner, maybe a few minutes before going to bed. You might need to do that because your schedule is not my schedule. We all have different schedules, we all have different needs. So you have to, I'm just giving you some examples of some things that are really important to take care of yourself. I'm trying to look at the other items as well. Um, I might need to come back to that. So let's come back to that. So, and going and continue, it says, your thoughts plus words manifest things, changing the way I think. Or repropitiation, your higher self. There's a ritual in Ifa that they do called repropitiation. Um, and it's a ritual that can help us with this alignment, getting in alignment with your destiny. It's really, really helpful, very cost effective, nothing major necessarily. Depends on what comes up in your consultation. Okay, the realms are connected and respond to each other. We talked about that. We talked about ritual aids and desired outcomes, the outcomes that you would like are can happen during ritual. Um, Remembering I am part of the creator God, not separate from him, along with everything that exists. Ritual action steps done in the seen to gain desired outcomes from the unseen. Thoughts plus words manifest things. We are interconnected through spirit, and what I do to one person has an effect on me as well. So I can't harm other people and think it's not gonna affect me. At some point it will. All right. So don't want to be too much chatty patty. I just want us to all remember that we are our ancestors. We are the current manifestation of all those that came before us. So with that, you want to pause and reflect. All the sacrifices that your grandmothers and grandfathers and all the people in your bloodline made so that you can be where you are today. You have to consider your choices wisely because all the things you do today have an effect in the unseen. And you made agreements before coming here. There are some things we have power over, we have choice over, but then there's some things we don't have choice over. All that's part of destiny, right? So we have to consider that we have purpose. So the question now is, what is my purpose? And only you can answer that. All we can do is give you the tools for you to find that out. But well, no, let me rephrase that. In divination, or consultation, which is ritual. You can ask questions about your purpose and things of that sort, but every system is different. In Ifa, there's something called the Odu, or it's an essay or statement that describes your very essence that was present when you were created. So when you get initiated into Ifa, you find out what something is called your life will do, or your reading, or the statement that gave birth to you, that talks about you, your essence, and everything about you. So that's the beauty about consultation and divination. You learn so much about yourself. And the beautiful thing about tradition, African spiritual systems, is they're very personal. It's like you going to a spiritual doctor and you're getting a prescription just for you. That prescription won't work for your sister, it won't work for your brother, because it's specific to you. Everything about you, your personality, your diet, everything. You'll be surprised what'll come up in divination. And so when it gives you advice, it's really giving you advice with the interest of you in mind. So you have to keep all those things in mind when you go for divination. And I want to share something with you guys too, because I'm a social worker. And I was going to say, be gentle with yourself, take it one day at a time, and just understand that this life is a journey. And it's in this journey of life, you're going to make mistakes. That's why that's why they create repentance. And in tradition, that's why we have ebos, for those mistakes we made. But the thing about mistakes, we want to learn from our mistakes, and we want to grow, and we want to be open minded about life, because things are not always what they appear to be. And just understand that everyone has a calling on their life. I keep hearing that people have a calling. And I want to address this, and some people might not like me saying this, but unless you are specifically told in consultation that you are not to work a 9 to 5 job, then you can work. Even because African spirituality is practical. Even if you don't work a full-time job, they're gonna they're gonna make sure the energy divinity is gonna make sure that your needs are met, because you have to get, they want you to get married, they want you to have kids, and you got to have money to be able to take care of them properly, right? And also, it may say for a season that you can't work, but then it'll say that you can work later. It can change. It can change. When you get the divination, it's for that day and that time that you got the divination. It can change. So just keep that in mind. So maybe 3 or 4 months later down the line, it may be something totally different. So just keep an open mind. And even if you can't work a 9 to 5 job, it may be you have to do contract work, or you might be able to work for a temp agency. They just want you to have the flexibility and ability, if you're a full-time trained priest, to be able to do the rituals and do consultation for clients. But if you're doing a temp position or a contract position, you work, particularly contractors, you seem to have a lot of flexibility. So that might be an option for people that are having some type of financial hardship. They've already been initiated into the priesthood and things of that sort, because it's not going to tell you to do something to hurt yourself. It's always going to tell you to do something, the oracle, that's going to better your life. And it makes provision for it. Like I said, tradition is practical, and it's based in science. It's practical. So, and when I hear people say everyone has a gift. And if you violate taboos, if you're doing certain things that are violating taboos, a lot, you may be bringing problems for yourself because you're violating those taboos. So just, be mindful of that. Okay. If you want to learn more about Spirit is Eternal, the book, here's a link for Ancestral Voices. They're based in the UK. They've been doing extensive research on African spirituality. They're really great. Um, Also, I'm going to share some information about a Botanica here in Illinois called All Saints Mojo. It's based in Momence, Illinois. I want to share that information. We also have Ile Egbe, which is the House of Royalty. They also do training The Baba comes from Nigeria back and forth to the US. A very good priest as well. Um, I am going to try to get some more information about other systems like Condomblé, Leukemia system. With the Leukemia, you can reach out to Olushas United. And also for Egbe, for our Egbe, Sekundrine Egbe, I'm going to also indicate the link for the various temples. We have a temple in Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Mexico, Miami, Florida. We're working on one in New York, California. Um, there's some other places as well, but I put it in a blog that I created, so I'm gonna add that as well. So any questions you have, you can post your questions. If I don't know the answer, I'll definitely try to get the answer for you. But I encourage you guys to keep looking at these videos about Balanced Meaningful Study Group. I try to keep things simple and in a 21st century context in a way in which we can relate to it. And that's what I wanted to do. And so, what I would like to share, because I also do like spoken word, I would like to share one of my pieces with you. It's called Sacred Waters. Um, I'm really proud about this piece because it talks about the divine feminine a little bit. And so just give me a second. Let me pull it up for you. Uh, okay. Sacred Waters. Yeah. And my link tree is Revolutionary Mothers. So your link tree, Revolutionary Mothers. And that was on the first slide. So you would see my link tree on there. And it's also a link to like my poetry that I've written and so forth. So let me find it. Oh, here it is. It says, Sacred waters manifest. Sacred waters manifest. Sacred waters manifest. I fall from heaven, giving Mother Nature a bath. I fall from heaven, giving Mother Nature a bath. By the air and land on leaves like the residue of morning dew. Don't you smell the freshness of spring waters? Don't you smell the freshness of spring flowers? Smelling similar to the honeydew. The sweetness like Mother Ocean. She provides softness and the mysteries of women's power. She provides softness and the mysteries of women's powers. I said, she provides the mysteries of woman's power. She is a part of me, the essence of life itself. See, I emerged from the source. I said, I emerged from the source. I didn't just arrive. I have a precise destination and purpose, the creative force that made land, the earth. Yes, I did. I am sacred waters manifest. I am sacred waters manifest. I am sacred waters manifest. Mammy water, I birth beauty, wealth, and mothers. My waters flow in you. My waters flow in you. Are you listening? My waters flow through you. My waters flow through you. I am sacred waters manifest. I am sacred waters manifest. I am sacred waters manifest.